Good evening, guys. How are you doing? It is a giveaway day, an unexpected mid-month giveaway day. Today, we've got some torchlight, we've got some glow-in-the-dark tufts, and we've got brand new stream graphics, which is awesome. How are you all doing? Crooked Grin, Viking, Draco, Rival Sarah, the absolute legend, donated some of these things to the stream just so we could wow you guys with these glow-in-the-dark tufts. Now, this is going to be epic, I am sure. These have been charging up all day, and hopefully will wow you all with their luminescence later on. Pop these to one side, but one lucky subscriber tonight is going to be taking away this pack of sage green tufts. So you can see that they are a reasonable enough color to go on any kind of base. Nice solid green. You'll also be able to take home one of these Rival Crafts torches for the charging up the glow-in-the-dark power. And then you're also going to win this base. Now this base is a little bit special. Trying to think of something that we could put with these very, very bright, luminous tufts. Decided to think back to things that maybe I'd seen that would be appropriate for this. And if we get right in to this base, you can see that there is basically some trash on this base. Well, that's because what I thought of when I thought needs like a radioactive pool of sludge was this. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far, and that's the wrong game entirely. I used to play World of Warcraft. I loved this game. It was an epic, epic game when I was in my mid-20s and could afford to spend all night raiding and then maybe have an hour or two sleep before going to work, drinking cans of Monster out of both hands, and then coming back home to do it all over again. And one of my favourite places in the entire game was Shadowmoon Valley. And as soon as I started thinking, we need to have a base that emanates this radioactive, horrible gunk, this was what I thought of. Some of you may have seen the pic we put up on Instagram earlier on. But these dark green sands and then these luminous green pools are what we're going to recreate today. Got to be very careful not to click on the other different sources and scenes that we've got here. So, what I've done to create a nice flat surface of a pool is to start off with some Vallejo pumice. We've built up that kind of crater effect around the sides of a base. And I've left this unundercoated just to show you what we've created here. Once we've done that, I glued in this tiny offcut of barrel. Now, for those of you that have been here for a long time and will remember us doing the Talon Master and Samael's bases, where I said, look, just cut this bit off so it fits in the base, but don't throw that away, keep it. You might need it for something else. Here you go. Right there. That's what it's for. We didn't know it at the time, but I knew I'd find a use for it. I then just super glued down a couple of ball bearings. These are what I use to agitate paint when I transfer them from your normal, everyday GW pots into dropper bottles for ease of airbrush use. And then I filled the whole lot of that with some quick drying UV resin, set it under the UV lamp, and then poured a little bit of resin over the top of both these ball bearings for two reasons. One, to really seal them in. They are not coming off. You will need to chisel them out of there to get any kind of movement on them. Secondly, that part of resin should be much easier to paint over and equally retain the paint on there in case of knocks and damages than just a flat piece of shiny stainless steel. So this is what we've got. We've got a little bit of the Red Canyon grit on there as well, just to help provide a little extra texture. But on this, we'll have our glow-in-the-dark tufts. And we've gone with the super bright green ones. These are pretty radioactive looking, if you do ask me. First thing I'm going to do is going to get the giveaway set up for you folks. It's going to be subscriber only. Reset that. And the giveaway will be exclamation point glow. So let's get that right on our pad. Mr. Frozin in the chat. How are you doing, sir? Let's get a shout out for this guy, the most badass of all Necron players. If you're a subscriber, exclamation point glow, you could win the base that we're going to paint tonight. One of these cute Rival Crafts keyring enabled torches. And this pack of sage green glow tufts. You could use these on anything, like I said. They're a nice shade of green. Good for pretty much any project with that kind of base. First thing I'm going to do, obviously, is undercoat this stuff. So, 2 ingredients, airbrush thinner and surface primer. Go for the non-shiny one, the matte black. You do need to shake the ever-living hell out of this stuff. So who else we got on the stream? We got Big Brom, Mr. Brutal. Pretty sure I saw Damien. Ventress, the Johnsonator, Chimo, M. Peters. Loads of you guys. What have you all been up to? What hobby have you got going on? Are you just sat there trying to work out how the hell I'm going to make this look radioactive? Hattus! And Smithy, how you doing? Playing the AO TTS tournament. Damn, man. I cannot play 40k on that. I can't. I had a couple of experiences. One of them was just a bit frustrating because I don't really like this. And then the other one was against a tournament player who was a routine practice partner of mine. And our games are normally close and occasionally tense. He's the sort of person that will argue a lot, even when he's wrong. And yeah, that was even worse on TTS. So meh. We'll wait for everything to be back to normal before we do a tournament. And if I lose ITC points I could have got in between there, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Because I'll win all the real games. You know, they'll lose because they just will. I have faith. Right. Black primer mixed 50-50 with the thinner. And we're going to do this over several coats. We're working with resin in 2 different types here. We've got the transparent UV drying stuff that we put down. We've got resin cast for these barrels. We've got pumice. We've got all manner of stuff on this base. But the whole point of using that resin was to create a relatively flat surface. If you don't have anything like that, sure, you could have used maybe green stuff. You could have used like a milliput or some other kind of sculpting material. But I felt that this was going to give me the best flat surface to work from. So I need to quickly hair dry this down so we can get another couple of coats on it. What else are people doing? We've got Draco getting stuff cut out for some AOS Savage Oryx. Nice. Damien's painting faces. He's very good at painting faces. He's going to give me a lesson on painting faces. For the price of pizza, I'm going to make him pizza. The Dyson. Thank you for that follow, man. Welcome to the stream. Chimo, still playing Blackstone Fortress, working on the weird tentacle dudes. They are very cool, though. Those 2 sorcerers, they're awesome, awesome minis. Ventress, painted Tau and Night Lords. On the same base. Interesting. Interesting. So now you can see, after we've got our first coat of black down, that we've got that kind of weird cooling lava-ish thing. Obviously can't see those ball bearings anymore. And then we're going to give this another good coat of the primer just to make sure that we've got a really solid area to get this paint down on. Like I said, we're working with resin, 2 different qualities. We've got various basic material on there as well. Want to make sure this is perfect. Crooked Grin, no, it definitely wasn't Mikey. Cellvirus, my main for the majority of time I played WoW was a Tauren Druid who, until they changed cat form DPS in Wrath, I think, pretty sure it was Wrath, was a tank. It was a big fat bear called Death Cake. Loved him. Brilliant, brilliant character. Last coat. MP says, buy a new paintbrush as my bog has eaten mine. By bog, do you mean toilet? Because that's really weird. Like, really weird. Smithy says, my airbrush keeps clogging up. I'm thinning my paint and cleaning properly using isopropyl. Any ideas? I wouldn't use isopropyl to clean your airbrush because it really can damage the seals and stuff. Certainly, I've never done it. It could be lack of pressure. When you say you're thinning properly, I mean, I thin everything 50-50. So, how are you thinning? Like, what's your metric for this is thinned correctly? Crooked Green says, my only hope's been trying to work out what the heck I need in the compressor. A motor. That's it. Mine isn't a compressor with a tank. Mine is just a straight up, it compresses air, fires it into a hose, the hose is the tank. Viking says, there is this blue Levi on my desk. Viking's painting Smurfs, this is good. I like it. I can't read that. Azek WP. That's what we're going with. That's what we're going with. Thank you for the follow and welcome to the stream. You like the purple Necron? Dude, the purple Cron was good, but he's not receiving any love currently. We have got a set of straw polls going on. If we zoom out ever so slightly. On release weekend for the Indomitus box, we are doing a 2-day stream. We're going to paint the Judicia and we're going to paint the Scorpeth Lord. These were minis that were chosen by this community. You guys wanted us to paint these particular things. So that's what we're doing. But we need to know how to paint them. And until probably the pre-order day, so that's this weekend. Until then, we'll keep going on what paint scheme we want. Exclamation point Judy, Judi, and exclamation point Score, SKOR, in the chat. Let's go have a look while that's drying off at how our straw polls are going. Now, I haven't voted yet. I'm keeping my vote for the straw vote, the swing vote. That's the one. So for our Necron, we're going to paint up currently the Scorpeth Lord in the Gypsy Danger color scheme. If you don't know what Gypsy Danger is, go and watch Pacific Rim. That movie is sick. I love that thing. Gigantic mechs. Happy days. This is why I'm a night player. Oh, and another vote in there for the Gypsy Danger Cron. If you'd like to not only see me paint a Necron Scorpeth Lord in that colour scheme, but also have the chance to win that mini and the rest of the Necron toys in that box set, brand new on sprue, exclamation point Score, follow the link in there, go and vote. If you would like some other kind of colour scheme, such as the got fucked up at a 90s rave crons, aka Lozzacrons, the new crons, lava crons, blue crons, Frozin is here. Ichu, thank you for that follow, dude. Welcome to the stream. Go vote. As far as our Judicia goes, currently the Smurf is in it by 2 votes. Ultramarine right there at the top. Dank Angle coming in strong in second place. Black Templar, who I'd really like to paint him as, but the Sons of Medusa, my favourite, in there at 4th. still room for that not to be an ultramarine. If you want it painted an ultramarine and you want to win that and all the marine stuff from that box, go vote now. Exclamation point Judy. If you don't want it to be an ultramarine, do the same thing, but don't click ultramarine. Got to click on the right button now. I've got so many new scenes. This is crazy. But here we are, the base. Smithy says, I just want the Kron in Gypsy Danger Kron, then going to try and replicate it. Absolutely, brother. It's going to be sick. So, first things first. Jay, what dangles you thinking? Green bone or 30k? If we get dangles, we'll put it to a vote. That simple. Who knows, right? To be fair, because it's the Judicia, most of his armor is going to be black. There's no two ways about that. It's going to be black. So it's just that shoulder pad, really. Bone would look really cool. Dark green would look quite nice. Keeping it black probably would mix it up. Okay. For our Shadowmoon Valley style base, in the pictures that we saw earlier on, all of the ground around the lava, the weird green toxic sludge, is this nice dark green color built up to a little bit of grey. So that's what we're going to start off with. We've got some black and we've got some warpstone glow. If you mix these two together, you basically get Dark Angel's green, but I want a little bit more control over it. Hence this. The Dyson says, I'm so stuck on how to paint the new Necrons. Nearly finished my last few Eldar bikes. Nice, dude. Eldar are looking good. Just in general for this edition. The whole move and shoot means that Crimson Hunter Exarchs are going to be hitting you on 2s regardless now and can take different Exarch powers. They don't need to take the ones that they were using to try and mitigate some of their modifiers. So they're really good. They can fly off the board now, so they can come out, do some guns, do some shoots, and then disappear off after you've moved into position to be able to shoot them the following turn. You know, they don't have to stick around. So there's a lot of decent buffs for Eldar come 9th. Could be a fun addition for them. Just wish there was a lot less Finecast. Everyone wishes there was a lot less Finecast. In general, not just in the Eldar line, just like in the world. Right. Here we go. So we're starting off with this nice dark green. And you get this on pretty much everything. And like I said, we could have just used Dark Angel's green, Caliban green, whatever it's called, but just wanted a little bit more control over exactly how green this is. Now, this is actually looking pretty difficult to see. Let's change that a little bit. There we go. Much more like our green colour. And I think we could also do with just changing the exposure a tad. Wrong way. There we are. We're slowly getting the hang of working with a real camera. It's taking time. I am not a camera scientist. Cool, there we go. So we've got a nice dark green. Now we're going to finish off all of this area, essentially, around it, before we start painting inside. That's going to allow just a little bit of a glow effect to just come out. Glow is a command, however, you must be a subscriber. So, exclamation point glow is the command to get in on the competition to win one of these Rival Crafts torches, an entire pack of their brand new glow tufts in sage green, plus this base that we're painting tonight. So if you maybe were a WoW player and you want to have a little reminisce about Shadowmoon Valley and how awesome it was, be a sub. Seems like the deal to me. And in fact, there he is. Thank you very much, dude. We even got an emote for that. I'm not entirely certain what that is, but cool. Emotes are good. Got a load more green in there now. This is just Warpstone Glow from GW. It's a nice mid-tone green. And then we'll highlight this up next with a little bit of grey. Only because I was a WoW player, of course. I mean, definitely, man. Why else, right? Hey, Cold. How you doing, brother? He says, 2 downsides to the flyers. Every detachment can only take 2 flyers, and there's no air wing detachment. I know. Thank God. So happy about that. Fuck all you people playing 9-hour planes. Fuck all of you. You can only move off the board if you can't make your minimum move. Yeah, but dude, you've got a massive maximum move. So when you fly on, then you just position yourself in a way that you can. Like, it's not like Eldar flyers aren't maneuverable, you know? What airbrush do I use? This is an Iowata HPCS 0.35 needle. It's a very good workhorse airbrush. It'll do pretty much anything I want, from real up-close detail to base coats, varnishing, primers, you name it. So just giving us a quick sort of pass over with some of that Warpstone Glow. We're still keeping this quite dark for now because we're going to add in some grey highlights in a sec to really just knock this up a notch. Yeah, so a nice strong green. Flesh some of that through, and we're going to grab this one. Got some Celestra Grey. It's a good grey, this. I like it a lot. Good base coat for white. Airbrush and OSL blue on the Knights. Awesome, dude. Awesome. I think the fact that it takes planning is entirely the point, though. And anyone that was playing an army with a lot of flyers was either good enough to understand that planning or was losing games anyway, and so it doesn't matter to them. Just aware of how somewhat elitist that sounded, but if you're going to netlist and play what like maybe one of the Bart brothers was playing or whatever, just because they won games, so why can't you? You just got to know. You just got to get your reps in. Right, mixed in some grey. So what we've got now is a very desaturated green. So I'm going to keep this pretty sparing. Mostly just around the rim of the base. I'm trying to avoid getting much or any, in fact, on this central area. Essentially got almost a sort of Sons of Horus green at this stage. I'm going to darken down a lot of this when we get to the very end of the wash. And for now, we're very happy with what we've got. And then we'll come in from this side and do the same thing. Just tilting the base away from us so we can stay towards the upper sort of parts of this crater. Yes, we're edge highlighting a base with an airbrush instead of dry brushing it. Don't really do dry brushing. We are going to do a little bit of dry brushing, but not this stream. I'm going to do some dry brushing on Ragnar Blackmane, because it's a really good technique for fur, and obviously there's quite a lot of fur on Raggy. Right, there we go. So we've got a nice brightish green around the outside. Now, the bit of green on the inside is not going to be desaturated like that was. The bit of green on the inside is going to be absolutely like eye pain kind of green. We're working all the way up to super bright yellows on that. But before we do that, though, we have to paint that barrel. So I want some of that green to just sort of spill over, a little bit of overspray there, which is going to give us a semi-OSL kind of look to it. Fish says, I still don't quite get my head around copy list. I much prefer to make my own and find out how it works. Someone else's list, you might not know why something has been included and what for. Absolutely, dude. I think with the sort of prevalence of 40k podcasts, certainly things like The Art of War, where they take a top level list though and break it down. We've got some gunmetal from Vallejo. You're going to get an idea of what to do, just not always why to do. And the why is almost always the more important. Jodarin, thank you for that follow, dude, and welcome to the stream. Right, so gunmetal grey. Gunmetal grey? Gunmetal, just gunmetal. Silver. Dark silver is what we're painting. I'm going to be painting this right the way down to the bottom of the barrel there. And try very hard not to get any on the resin that we've poured in at the bottom. But we do want a very nice strong coat of this, so we might end up just doing 2 passes just to be sure we've got everything that we need. We're going to be introducing some washes to this. We're going to be introducing some rust, which we're going to paint on. We're not going to use pigments for that, not this time. We do a lot of rust with pigments. It's a very easy way around things, but I just feel like painting it today. So the next thing I'm going to do, after we've got a nice solid coat of silver, is get some dark tone out. This is a really good wash product from the Army Painter. Much prefer it to Nuln Oil. I know there'll be people sat in the crowd that are going, hang on, what? Nuln Oil is life. Trust me on this. Just trust. DK, how you doing, man? Good to see you, champ. Darken it down a little bit more so we can start seeing what's going on with that silver. Quick job with the hairdryer. Far too warm in here tonight to be using the hairdryer. It's not been a particularly warm day, but God, it is starting to get a bit toasty. And then back in for another coat. Now we're going to darken this down by giving it a very liberal application. That strong tone we were just talking about. Sorry, dark tone, rather. And we might end up just using this as the highlight colour afterwards. We're going to make this barrel look like it has been through the wars. Now, there was, I'm pretty sure I remember this, a quest that you had to do in Shadowmoon Valley to go and get barrels. I'm pretty sure I remember that. It sounds like a very Warcrafty thing to have to do. Get out already. Can't have lost the dark tone. That's absolutely the end of days if that's happened. It's there. Why is it there? Wow. Wow. That was scary. Most of the point changes have allegedly been leaked. Have they now? Can anyone tell me the points changes, or the points cost, I should say, for a fully loaded Night Crusader? Thermal, Gatling, all the heavy flamers, the stubbers, and of course, the Ironstorm missile pod. If someone can find me that, I will reward you with meeps as long as you can provide proof of that. Not for Knights, no, mostly Marines. Oh, fuck you then, Fish. Fuck you. 10 points. Damien, you provide me proof of that. I will buy another 80 Knights. No problem. Can't fit them all into detachments. Like, I'm playing under points, guys. You know. Jesus told you. Damn, Jesus is in the know. Safe Tech! Thank you for that follow, man. Welcome to the stream. So, let's get... Don't want too much of a pool, but want to get a nice dark finish on all of this. Gunmetal, the Vallejo paint, is kind of the replacement, essentially, for GW's Lead Belcher. I much prefer it because it just flows a lot better. It is an air paint, It's designed for an airbrush, but it just behaves itself a little bit better. Now, the flow of this wash doesn't work particularly well with water if you add that in as a mix. So I'm just going to use some flow improver. Get some of that on the palette. You can use their quick shade mixing medium, which is a good substitute for flow improver, but flow improver is extremely cheap and works pretty much just as well. So we use flow improver. And we're going to start creating a little bit of a blend, bringing some darker shadow down towards the bottom of this. Going to be getting a load of rust on here in a bit, so we're not too precious about this. Not just yet. So Smithy says, I think there are 1,000 points a night as GW doesn't like how Jay still plays competitive nurse no matter what the power creep is. Knights for the win, baby. Knights for the win. Daddy Tubbs. One cut thumb and a day later I've almost finished the first converted Legion of the Damned war suit productive day. Okay, but Legion of the Damned, now you're talking. Now you are definitely speaking my language, man. Exclamation point Discord. Head on over there, put some of that in the whip section. We'll definitely take a look at that later on. Jodarin! Getting his sub on as well. Farsias, how you doing, man? Thank you very much, my friend. Throwing out some emotes with that as well. What a boss. Alright, let's grab a bit more of that, a bit more flow improver. Again, just build up a second coat, darkening this down. We're also going to take this opportunity to put that darker wash that we have thinned over all of this. Now what you should be doing is switching from your nice posh new brush to an older brush for this, but I've started now at start finish. Become Paxman. Never mind. People seem to forget, yes, the Marines went up in points, their guns went down. Not all of them. Definitely not all of them. For instance, a twin heavy bolter, certainly in 8th edition, is not 30 points. There are a lot of significant price increases for Space Marine units that were very in meta. And thank God, because Centurions was one of those. And they deserve to die a horrible, horrible fiery death. Especially if they're Raven Guard. Just absolutely. But I'm a knight player, so most of my guys are characters. So fuck Raven Guard. I just need to grab a little bit more wash to see if we can make this last till the end of the base. Just another couple of brush strokes. You can do it, buddy. Happy days. So I'm just going to remove some of the pooling that we've got here and there. And then we'll give this another good blast with a hairdryer to ensure that we've got a nice dry surface to continue painting on. Thunderfire cannons now 145 points, not 90. Yep. Yeah, whirlwinds went up. A lot of their non-line of sight shooting went up. And I imagine that non-line of sight shooting will go up anyway, because it's going to be doubly effective now. A lot of the terrain just stops you from having line of sight. You don't even like, oh, I can just see round like this bit of window. Nope. Nope. Just got tilted in Overwatch. Damn, man. Them competitive games. Them competitive games. And Jodarin getting in that exclamation point glow command as well. He's now in. Brand new sub, and he wants those glowing tufts. Right, there we go. So we've now got a much darker green around the outside, very reminiscent of that dark green Shadowmoon Valley. That's exactly what we're aiming for. We will come back with a little highlight on this afterwards, just a little, to bring it right back up. But for now, we're working on the barrel. We've given that 2 washes with that strong tone. So that's much, much darker now than it was before. Now, we're going to just pop a quick set of highlights on that using our bolt gun. Sorry, gunmetal again. I keep wanting to call it bolt gunmetal. I mean, you can understand why they named it gunmetal. You just can't. You can't see any green. There's definitely... Oh, of course, yeah, you're colorblind, aren't you? Yeah. Right, so let's start off by just getting in the normal highlights. So we'll keep these quite thin. And we're aiming more for edge highlights than anything else right now. Then we'll get a little bit of battle damage going on here before we start getting our rust game on. So just hit all these edges. If it comes to it, we'll grab some silver and really lift them up a little bit in places as well. This is not the focal point of the base by any stretch of the imagination, but it is a really strong accent to it. And I don't mean accent like, alright mate. Don't mean that kind of accent. Admecha strong. Currently, Admecha completely overpowered because the cost of a Dakar bot is 65 points all in, which is almost certainly a gross oversight. I can't see that staying the same because those Dakar bots were already good at 110 points. There were just some better options. But at 65 points, people will run that all day. All day. Okay, that could be a lot brighter. So what we're going to do now is going to thicken up this line just a touch. And then we'll grab some silver, which is a really, really bright silver color from Vallejo. I use this a lot. And then bam, up we go. What accent was that? That was a very bad Brummy accent. Necaro, Nero K1. Sorry, dyslexia. Welcome to the stream, dude. Mr. Sunday stream, how did Ragnar go? Ragnar, we did all of his armor, including battle damage. So, it's a quick preview for what some of the battle damage on this could look like. Here he is. Let's get right in on him. Look at that. The battle damage took about 25-30 minutes. The pin washing and the highlighting took a lot longer. A lot longer. There you go. And then on the Hellstorm stream last night, I painted 22 bases for Aeronautica Imperialis in a kind of sweeping radar pattern. So these are ready now to be varnished, some shades put in there, and then a couple of brushed highlights afterwards, after we've done all of the rest of these bits and pieces. And then did a little bit of work on his yellow shoulder pad. Blended up some greys, a couple of quick edge highlights on there. Sorted. So he's doing well, man. He's definitely doing well. If you guys want to watch the rest of that stream, exclamation point YouTube, head on over there, where you can watch every stream that we put up, apart from that one because I haven't exported it yet. Bad J. Bad J. Right, second edge highlight here, just to give us a real bright silver. Much better. Much better. Yeah, well, to be honest, I don't think anyone should ever accurately replicate the Brummy accent because there's enough of that in the world already and we just don't need any more. So you get a little highlight just on the edges of these. Sarah, how were you not a subscriber? How were you not a subscriber? Fish, props to you, man. Sarah, let me give you your meeps. You need these. You need to spend your meeps. You've got over 12k. Get on it. Get on it. This is heresy. I'll do a quick highlight just around the top edge of this, and then we'll start working on that battle damage. So we've got a nice flat surface here we can get some done on. That's always a good start. Just do a couple of quick scrapes. So, to do slashes as if something is sort of clawed at some armor or whatever else it might be, just literally draw in, keep them thin, a couple of lines. So we're going to do from this side as if the claw is coming from here, like so. And that's the first part of it. Currently, that's just some stripes. This is no good. And then on the front here, we'll just do a little slash just in there as well. So that's step one. Doesn't look like much to begin with, does it? But step two. You grab some brown paint. I've got some Catachan flesh left on my wet palette from Sunday stream. Wet palettes, man, they're good. Keep that paint alive. And then all you do is you paint the darker line on top of the brighter line. Now, when we did Ragnar stuff, we did it the other way around. We painted all the darker bits because it was easier to see, and then the silver. But there's nothing stopping you from doing it this way. So you get some brown streaks in there. Brown may not have been dark enough. So, easy to fix. Let's grab some black paint and do the same thing. You can already see there how that's starting to look a little bit more 3D. It's getting a little bit of depth to it. I mean, Sarah could enter the giveaway herself, and then I'd send it back to her if she wants. Maybe, exclamation point tufts. Everyone's gone to her store, bought them all out. She's like, well, I've got one more order to fill. They want the sage green glow tufts. I really shouldn't have sent those to Jay for this giveaway. Let me just bring it back and I'll reship, you know? Let's get in here with the black. Again, keep these lines real thin. That's much better. Much stronger bit of contrast there. And now it looks a bit more like it's 3D. Come around to the front and do this one. Again, just draw your darker line above the brighter line. And as we said a minute ago, you can definitely draw the dark lines in first and then come back in and do the brighter lines. No issues there. We actually wiped out a little bit of that silver line. It was a little bit too aggressive with our black. So now we'll come back in, draw that line in once more, and then readjust for this. Easy, right? Happy days. So next up, I'm going to start getting some rust on this barrel. This is where we're going to really start to bring out some different colours on the base. We got some orange, Troll Slayer orange. This stuff's great for doing rust. Pixel Props, how's it going, man? Sarah, that is a very long way around, but you know, when desperation hits, right? These are now in the store, so you can go and buy these. Ooh, speaking of things in a store, commerce, I mean, that's not where I was going with it, but very, very shortly, probably within the next, let's say, month or so, we will have, I've got to try and do this without doxing anyone. Can I? If we do this. Yeah, I think that works. Pixel Props, thank you very much for that. Much appreciated. Follow's always good. Right, let's move that to there. Come back over here. Got to try not to dox my artist. Flick over. Oh, bollocks. Slightly off screen. Damn you to hell. There you go. Pretty soon, N7 Caliban, thank you for that follow. Pretty soon, we will have these ready to go. Hopefully within the next month or so. A set of 6 Mohawkminiatures objective markers. These ones do have both the center point and 3 inches of the center point marked, and 3 inches from a regular 40mm objective point marked at the very edge of this disc. It'll be 6 mouse mat style objective markers, full set. Still working on the prices, but hopefully within the next 6 weeks or so, we'll only have 8 sets for sale. I'm ordering 10. The artist has already claimed 1 set. I want a set for myself, of course. We are that greedy. I mean, of course I am. I want these objective markers. So if you want some, when they come up for sale, do not sleep on that order. I am expecting to be able to sell 8 very quickly. So with the orange that we just put on our palette, we're going to grab a little bit of that brown, that Catachan flesh, mix that in and really muddy it down and get it quite dark. And then we're going to add in a load of water to keep it nice and thin. And we're going to start glazing on the first pass of our rust color. Do they glow? Not yet. Maybe if you sprayed them with something that would allow them to glow, they would glow. Who knows? But currently not. So let's start off with where our rust would normally fall. And that would be obviously in these recesses where they would trap water or whatever other contaminants may be about. Let's zoom in as well. It's easier to see. So we've got this nice ridge that goes all the way around the top of the barrel. We can definitely get some rust in there. Now somebody's going to be sat there going, hang on a minute, get Games Workshop do rust paint. Why don't you just use rust paint? I really don't like it. It's super thick, it's very difficult to do anything with, and so what I normally end up doing is just taking their Rise of Rust, thinning it down to the point where it's kind of a wash anyway, where it is basically Troll Star Orange. Just is, alright? So that's why we're not using it. And also, we're going to do 2 or 3 different highlights with this. We've got this dirty, darker colour that we're putting in now. I'm going to put some of that into one of these scratch marks. I'm going to stipple a little bit on here and there throughout the top of the barrel. And then we'll get some in right down at the bottom here in this little crease that we darkened up earlier on. Because rust isn't just one colour. If you go out now, well not now, but you know, after the stream, as long as it's still daylight, go and have a look at some things in your local area that you'll find covered in rust. Normally things like junction boxes for telecommunications will have some paint missing and a little bit of rust on there. You'll find some street lamps. Maybe you live near an industrial estate. You know, all these things, good to go and just check out what rust looks like. You've also obviously got access to the internet. Great for doing that sort of thing. And most rust you'll find will be brown, not orange. So just taking a really thick orange paint and slapping it on a mini doesn't really work. So we've added some brown in. Now I'm going to add a bit more orange into that. Build it up to a bit more of a strong midpoint between those two. Again, keep it nice and thin. Start working this orange in. What the fuck is the internet? It's the thing you look at when you have your special alone time, Damien. When you're occasionally hoovering your bedroom, right? Those kind of times. Let's get a little of this on the front. Yeah, some of this is definitely going to be covered up when we start working the airbrush in a minute to get our glowing green radioactive sludge in here. It's Jay and Silent Bob. It's when they're going through moviepoopshoot.com. I got the reference, but I thought a put down is probably better. So, besides which, there are plenty of people in the stream that have not seen any Kevin Smith films, I'm sure. Those people are unfortunately missing out on a glorious piece of cinema entertainment, and are hopefully also in the minority. I can't think of anyone here who wouldn't enjoy Dogma, for instance. Dogma is absolutely one of the best films ever. So what we're doing, we're just working up the blend, keeping some of that original brown colour down. But now we're starting to get that rusty orange look going on. Dogma is amazing. It's not Gladiator. Well, I'm glad it's not Gladiator, because whilst that was a good film, it didn't have Salma Hayek in it. And that I feel, that always improves a film. We're stippling in some of this. You notice that we're not getting full coverage over the brown that's already been put down. That's intentional. And we get some spots on there of this. And then when we do the bit where it's just in contact with the ground, that's when we'll start laying down an actual coat of paint. So just thin this even more than it already was. Got some flow improver, got some water in there. Got a nice glaze of orange now. Are you not entertained? I was the first time I watched the movie. I was less entertained the second time I watched the movie, and I was barely watching it the third time the movie was on. Whereas Dogma, I've watched several times. It's a brilliant film. It's a brilliant film. The Golgothan scene. It's a shit demon! Epic. Player Gurgi? Player Gurge. Thank you for that follow and welcome to the stream, man. Snake Plissken. It's Escape from New York, greatest film of all time. Of all time is pushing it. That is pushing it. It is a great film, but of all time might be a step too far. Right, now I'm going to take just some bare ass Troll Slayer orange, because Troll Slayers do it bare ass. Let's be honest here. I'm going to thin it just a touch, and then get our final highlight on this rust to really, really bring this up. So again, let's start around the front. We want the highest contrast. We've got a lot more of that bright green going on down here. We will have, at least. Work in some of these recesses. It's more important now than it was before to be sparing with this. If you put too much on, the whole thing just becomes that one orange colour. We want that variation, especially when you get up close and have a look at it. And as it mats down, you'll see that colour change a lot easier. I'm going to just stipple in very carefully, not to damage the tip of our brush, but also to make sure we don't cover up too much of our previous colour. Some of these bits around the edge. And then same on the back. And then we've only got one thing left to do to this barrel before it's finished, and that is to apply a couple of bits of streaking grime, which is super, super easy to do. I'm going to use a pigment from Secret Weapon Miniatures called Soft Body Black, which is absolutely epic for doing stuff like this. Great for panel lining as well. So if you don't want to go into the realms of oil paints and you really do want black panel lines on stuff, that's definitely the way to go. There you go, get that nice and bright just down at the base there. So now we've got a barrel that's definitely seen better days. Of course, it has now been thrown into a toxic pool. It's alright. Favourite part is when she attacks / hoses Alan Rickman, the Metatron, with a fire extinguisher. Yes. Yes. See, sort of a rogue bit of Mohawk. Is it just there? Yeah, unfortunately, that's most of the Mohawk, and that's staying for definite, but apologies. Right, soft body black. That's what we're going to do. Here we go. So this stuff's great. This stuff is absolutely fucking epic stuff. It's because I've had my hoodie on today, and I've had the hood up most of it, so it's losing some staying power. I swear that's the only time I have that problem. I swear. Performance issues? It's never happened before! Right, so this stuff is a wash. But, my god, it's pretty magical. It's great for doing stuff like this. So, we're just going to pop in a few vertical lines. And keep the point of our brush nice and sharp, so don't put too much on. And I'll take 2 or 3 coats, because again, it is a wash. Slightly off stream. And we're just going to darken down around the rim of this as well. So we don't mind that we're painting on our green now. At all. That's all going to get covered up with the airbrush very shortly. But let's just darken up one of these recesses, for instance, and then start painting some faint streaks coming down from there as well. Get that in and mix it up a little bit with that rust that we've just done. Ever seen Alien Nation? I don't think so. And I might have done. Who's in it? What's in it? What's the... It's clearly got something to do with aliens. That's... Or perhaps another sense of the word alien, which we won't go into. So again, just bringing those lines down. Some dirty streaks. Here a bit more, and then pretty much done on the barrel. There we are. Right, so next step is going to be doing our luminous, extremely luminous green. James Caan, it's buddy cop movie, he plays a cop head of the first alien cops. Oh, I think I have. Who's the cop? I'm really sure I've seen this. It's an old film that came out in the 90s, right? Okay. I can't remember what he looks like. Donna-chan, thank you very much for that sub, mate, and welcome to the stream. Now you're a subscriber, exclamation point glow. You could win this base, a pack of Sage Green Glow Tufts. These are the new glow-in-the-dark technology from Rival Crafts. Breaking into the sci-fi / mystical realms with these. And one of these super cool, cute, keyring compatible charging torches so you can charge up your glow-in-the-dark tufts. 88. Yes, the mottled heads thing. I'm totally with you. I definitely saw that when I was a child. It's just that was in the 80s. So, you know. What time is the giveaway? End of the stream, man. Got about an hour and a half. F4 UK getting involved as well. Good man. Good man. Right, let's fire up the airbrush again. I'll get right back to it. Quickly flush it out a little bit more. Hashtag Old Man J. I mean, considering the source, hashtag Ancient Damien. Right. Hey, no worries, man. We're a lurk-friendly stream. You go eat. So we're going to start off Warpstone Glow. I'm going to do 2 sets of highlights with this. We're going to go green up to white, which is going to look terrible. But you guys know sometimes how we do what we do. And then we're going to do green up to yellow on top of that. Sometimes, especially when you're airbrushing, it's worth just going through a definite my god that looks shit phase, because the end result will be so much better. So we've got some Warpstone Glow. I'm just going to establish a base for this. Now I'm going to try and restrict this to only the poured resin that we've got on here, that UV resin we put in earlier on. So start in the center and then work out from there. Doesn't matter if we get a little bit on the edges, and there will be, over the course of doing this, there will definitely be some of this that hits the edges. It's totally fine. It's going to be a little bit of a OSL-ish glow. It won't really be OSL. We're not trying to create a light effect. It will just naturally happen. It will kind of look a little bit along those lines. So just go around that, give it all a good solid coat. Grab the hair dryer, dry it down, give it a second pass in a second. And we're going to take this green up to white. And there is definitely a point in doing that. It will look terrible for a while. It just will. It's going to help our yellow be the most vibrant yellow it could be. Now already, if you look at that, it's not so bad. If you wanted quick bases, that'll do, right? But we can go a lot better than that. Take this base away, it's got to look special. And it's the first base to get these Rivalcraft growing tufts. Sarah, you've got to get growing tufts now. That's the one. The people have spoken. I mostly misspoken. Growing tufts. Not glowing, growing. That's what you need. So how long is this oh my god this looks crap face supposed to last? I think I still have minis at that stage. I still have minis at that stage, man. Don't worry about it. Trust, it's fine. But they should come out of that stage at some point. Right? So coming back in with that Warpstone Glow. Stay mostly to the center. Just reinforcing that. There we are. Here's where it's going to start looking absolutely terrible. We're going to desaturate all of that. So you grab one of the best hobby products you could possibly have. This gets used a lot, even on minis that aren't white. Dahlia and Rowney FW white ink. The Liquitex stuff is meant to be just as good. I've not used their white, but I have used a lot of their other inks, and they've absolutely stood up to the task. But, you know, this is absolutely one of those things that every hobbyist, especially those that have an airbrush, should own. Yeah, Sarah, you've now got to become a horticulturalist. Botanist. What ink was it? Dahlia and Rowney FW ink. Okay. Look for this blank square. That means it's their translucent ink. They're semi-opaque. I think it says it's somewhere on the bottle as well. No, not at all, in fact. But that's the symbol for semi-opaque. If you've got one that's a fully white box, that's the one for opaque. And they've got really good coverage, the opaque inks as well. Ed7 Caliban says, best white ever. It's a damn good white, man. Right, here's where it's going to start to look terrible. We've got extra flow improver in here. We've just added in 1 drop of that ink, which is much, much thinner than acrylic paint, and 3 drops of flow improver to the airbrush. So this we need to be very, very much in control of. We've done this a few times recently. It's not about the amount of air that comes out, it's just about how you control the trigger for the paint flow. So don't be afraid of going super thin. Just make sure that when you're putting this down, you are well in control of the trigger, only allowing a small amount of paint to come out. That's the key part of it. So we're putting this down in the center. See, that's already becoming very pastel now. It's not looking its best at all. Then start coming out and surrounding these little blobs that we've got. What we're doing is coming in from the top as well, because as you can see, there's this little lip. See that little darker tide mark around each of the bubbles? I want to preserve that. Can't you be painting on the brush? You need to do some white Space Marines Army. It could be, but it's very, 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 very thin. So it's a lot harder to control with a brush than a regular acrylic paint. I've used the AK Interactive Titanium White Ink. No, I haven't. The only AK Interactive products I've ever used is a couple of their basing products. And they've been good. Their pumice, I don't like as much as the Vallejo one, though. I think the Vallejo one, you just get... There's more particulate in the Vallejo one. So as a result, to build up things like this sort of crater effect is much easier with that than it is with the AK stuff. But they're not marketing a product that is meant to do that, or at least the product I was using wasn't meant to do that. So working from a distance, staying pretty much top down in that zenithal position, especially on and around these bubbles of goop. And we're building them up to a much, much brighter glow. Now that already looks somewhat radioactive, and you can see we've got some of that overspray there on the front of the barrel, which we totally intended to do. It's going to help sell our green ooze at being radioactive. So, dry it down with a hairdryer, add in some more white ink, and just keep building that. And we're going to work up to pure white coming out of the airbrush in a bit, because we're then going to go back in with green and build it up to yellow over that surface. And what that's going to do is give us something that is absolutely full of power and luminescence. Both my sister-in-laws own plant nurseries, so I've got it covered. Awesome. And Damien, she totally is. If you go back and watch the Nurgle Demon stream, just parts of it, because there was 35 hours of that stream, so just parts, you'll see it in use. They're brilliant, mate. Absolutely brilliant. Oi! A-Cold throwing out a gift sub to Brush Liquor. I fully support that username. Brush Liquor, congrats, mate. You're now a sub. You're eligible to enter that glow giveaway. Let me give you your meeps. There you go, dude. All yours. So, exclamation point win. If you get gifted a sub and you're not sure what meeps are or what to do with them, exclamation point win and exclamation point mystery will really help you out. Best weekend, so much fun. I mean, if that was the best weekend, then I'm really sorry about that, because you just got me performing for 35 hours straight. It's not good. But, god damn, it was a lot of fun. I was mostly delirious through some of that. The bit where I turned around at about 3:30, 4 in the morning, I could just see daylight start to creep in. I'm like, no. We're in the bad time now. This is not going to be good. Chafing is real. Just gob on it, mate. You know. Right. Here's where it's going to start looking super terrible. Now what we're going to do, rather than airbrush the entire area of this with this brighter colour, we're going to limit it to our bubbles, essentially. So for this one, we're just going to get the surrounding area as well, but mostly focused on the top of the bubble itself. This is where we're going to start working up to that pure white. And you see the camera's already having a bit of a hard time. But you could use this as it is if you were doing like a ghostly marsh or something. This would work. That would work really well with these glowing tufts as well. So you've definitely got plenty of uses for these. I mean, if you're anything like me, you probably won't be playing that many games of 40k in the dark. But just felt like it, mate, that's because you are a boss. And you'll be recognised for being a boss as long as everything has worked. Might not have done. As long as everything has worked, you'll be recognised for being a boss later on. We have had a few small issues with the brand new graphics and layout and stuff. One of the things I'm not entirely certain I can get to work, which is a shame, but I might be able to rescue it by doing a lot of work. I'm not very good at video editing. We're learning. So hopefully we can find a way. Can anyone else see green nipples? I mean, hopefully Twitch can't, because I'll get shut down for that. But it's cold and it's the She-Hulk, maybe, I guess. Either that, or you've just got one of those minds that, you know. God, you thought they were white then. Just you wait, man. This next coat is bright. So again, this is where the camera will probably start having issues. And as before, we're keeping this super tight in to these areas. We just want to make sure, basically just getting the tip. So the very top of these bubbles. Just allowing a tiny amount of overspray, but still retaining those darker lines. Camera's having a real hard time now. Also, just going to come in and hit this little recess that we've got going on down there as well. Get that nice and bright. And then what we're going to do, seeing as that's very nearly white, there's still a little green left in the airbrush. You can just see there, it's still slightly green. Looks like a Ninja Turtle smoking a cigar. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Totally down for that. That is brilliant, though. Well done. Well done. Right, going to flush this out. Then we're going to give it a quick wipe around the inside to remove as much of that green as possible so we can get a pure white ink coming out. Ichu says, want to paint like this? Honestly, man, you can do it. It's a lot easier than it looks. All I'm really doing is showing you guys some techniques to use to be able to paint like this. None of what I do is necessarily difficult. Some of it requires some practice, but none of it requires you to be like particularly amazing at painting. Salvara says can't be unseen. Absolutely. Which Ninja Turtle is it? Which Ninja Turtle is most likely to slope off and have a stogie? The Crooked Grin puts in chat Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, Raphael, and Blunt. I mean, four brothers past the doobie, right? It's got to be. So quick tip, when you're using white ink, don't mix it with the brush that you've left in your dirty paint water to mix the rest of your colours, because you'll contaminate the white. So I just use a toothpick. Always got one hanging around my desk for one reason or another. We've just used that. Wow, we've got some divisive opinions here. Ralph, Mikey, Leo. No one said Donatello. I mean, that guy definitely needed to chill out at times. So could have been him. So here comes that white. And we're going to be real careful to just hit the top of these bubbles now. There's always going to be a small amount of overspray. But what we really want is a super bright white right at the point where these bubbles are going to burst. And you see it's absolutely blown the camera out. So this is way too bright. If you were doing this for a base and you were still highlighting at this point, you have gone too far. It's like the Holy Grail. We've got to 5. 5 is right out. Donatello was a narc. Wow. Wow. Donatello was awesome, dude. I mean, if the Turtles were Space Marines, Donatello would definitely be an Iron Hand. Leo would blatantly be an Ultramarine. Like, no two ways about it. He'd blatantly be an Ultramarine. I think Raphael would be an Angry Marine. Fuck knows what Michelangelo would be. What Marine chap would Michelangelo be? Dark Angel Black Templar? No, man. He's going to haul off and smash someone in the face with a steel chair. That's what he's going to do. Loza! How you doing, babe? Good to see you. We're painting radioactive green bases a la Shadowmoon Valley from World of Warcraft today. Just because the absolute boss, Sarah from Rival Crafts, has created a monster. A glowy monster. She now has glow-in-the-dark tufts that we are giving away tonight. This actual box of sage green glow tufts and this keyring torch charger. Up for grabs tonight. For 1 subscriber, exclamation point glow. You want to win both of those 2 things and the base that we're working on right now as well. What we're going to do, beat us up, exclamation point glow. You have your amazing glow tufts on the way? I bet you do. I knew they'd be right up your alley as soon as Sarah told me about them, in fact. Right, so we've currently ruined this base by spraying our green and highlighting it with white, and it looks really desaturated and, let's be honest, a bit naff. This is even too far if you're doing some like Army of the Dead style ghostly marsh. So, you know, maybe dial it back if you're just going to stop at this kind of level. But look at the barrel. That's really taken on the glow really nicely. It's blended itself in quite well. This is good. What we need to do now is turn this into something that's really vibrantly green. That's the next step. So we go right the way back now to our original Warpstone glow. Got the pink ones, and asked Sarah for them. Nice. Nice. See, I knew you'd have a hand in this somewhere. So we want this to be very, very thin. So plenty of flow improver, a little bit of paint. Wildside getting in a giveaway as well. Base we're playing with is perfect for crons. It is perfect for crons, you're right. And Saint Attila did raise the hand grenade on high, saying, "O Lord, bless this thy hand grenade, that with it thou bloweth thine enemies into tiny bits in thy mercy." Well remembered. I think I want to figure out how to make bases that are like Mammoth Springs in Yellowstone. Would they have to shoot water? That's the real question. So, going to introduce this green again. And what we're going to do is going to completely avoid those white splodges. So both of these two bubbles, we're going to avoid that as much as we can. It's going to go on all the way around the rest of the base though. Because the whole point of laying that down and building that white up was to allow the yellow that we're going to put into this to be its brightest version of yellow. Now we did this the other night when we were painting Ragnar Blackmane. So if we go and grab this flaming sword, well it's not a flaming sword, but the bright orange sword, looks like a flame. When we did this, we sprayed everything a neutral ochre colour to begin with, then worked up from that to yellow, before adding in white ink and spraying about the top half of this blade with white ink. So it was bright white here, ochre there, and a little bit of yellow in the middle. So when we put our yellow back over it as a series of glazes through the airbrush, we had the brightest possible yellow that we could have. And then brought in some orange at the end for a shadow. We're going to be doing a similar kind of thing on this later as well. It's the same technique, so you see how you can use this kind of way of painting in a lot of different ways. Did it in a shoulder pad as well. I've done it on my knights for their hazard stripes. And you can do it in any kind of thing that you want. Let's say you want to tint something one color. You can obviously go in there with a brighter color underneath, or even like you could use a purple, then put a blue over. Loads of different things that you can do with this kind of method of painting. Obviously though, one thing it's really good for is bringing out something's brightest value. So, this is a bit we've got to be careful of. When we build this colour, look at how bright that green is in the middle in the camera there. Haven't even added any yellow to it whatsoever. And it's already looking pretty damn vibrant. But you need to go real slow with this. You are glazing now through the airbrush. Don't make any mistakes about it. That's exactly what's happening. The paint is so thin that if you accidentally go a little bit too hard on the amount of paint that comes out of the airbrush, you will just spurge it everywhere, and that'll ruin the effect that we've done before. Just a flat ridged calcite deposits with colour gradients showing different temperatures and bacteria. God, I'd have no idea, mate. Shallow pools of clear water all over that. In fact, on Ragnar's base, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do this as a very winter, like frozen pool in the middle there. We're going to put some fake snow on there made out of crushed glass. We're going to make some icicles. We're going all out on Raggy. This is going to a guy called Peckish Fox, who won this in our last giveaway mini contest at the end of last month's stream. He's a great streamer. He's an awesome dude. So I really want to go all out on this mini for him. If you want to be in with a chance of winning a mini painted by me, there's a couple of ways you can do it now. First off, exclamation point mystery in the chat. Every month we do a giveaway for a mini. You can either choose one of two minis that you know about. So far this month, we've unveiled the Blood Bowl Minotaur, which I think is a super, super sick mini. I love this dude. Absolutely. You could win him. What a prize, right? We don't know what the other mini is. That will be unveiled on Sunday. But you could also, if you don't like either of those two minis, gamble on what's in the mystery box. Now, in the mystery box could be anything from my collection. The thing that was in here before is still in here. This has not been opened. It is locked down tight. It's a slim box, but I think you could probably fit things like knight armigers in there. Could be anything from my collection. So that's a load of 40k stuff. That's some limited edition stuff. That's Warcry minis, Shadespire minis, Sigmar minis, 40k minis, Necromunda minis, Blood Bowl minis, some custom resin stuff, but then also things like just some scenery, one single ripper, scenic base. We love doing scenic bases. Could just be that. It's a gamble. Could be anything in there. Damien says it's still don't. No, it says it's a mini. It has to be a mini, and no one wants a mini one of those. So probably isn't that. Bust of Gwyneth Paltrow. Actually, that would be super good to put in there one time. Is actually legitimately Gwyneth Paltrow's head as a bust, a miniature form. Right, going to start mixing in the yellow now. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to put in some necrotite green. So the reason I'm going through this step is because whilst all this is that plus that, because I've got a very small amount of paint in the cup, a drop of this equates to quite a lot of yellow going in, whereas a drop of this equates to not a lot of yellow going in. So that's what we're going to go with. This is necrotite green from P3, and it is basically just green and yellow paint mixed together. My balls are glowing. Well, ta-da! Proper name is Eldar Farseer. I mean, that's definitely one way you could take that joke. There we go. Add in a drop of that. Give that a good mix, and now we're going to start painting this up onto those bubbles that we've put down as well. We're also going to start staying away from the edges a little bit. We want those to be a little darker, a little bit more of a rich green than the brighter green that we're going to lay down with this. Here we are. So, going in now, painting those bubbles, keeping that dark line. See that dark line that's in there? I want to retain that. We also want to make sure that we get good coverage all of this raised area. Fan it out a little bit. Give ourselves like a mid-tone. This essentially is what we're working with here. Building that green up though. You can see just how vibrant that green is. Same deal here. Tiny amount of paint. Loads of air. I want to keep this cone of paint nice and tight. Also want to make sure that the paint dries when it's hitting the model. We've got a very flat surface here essentially that we're working with. We don't want any of that spider webbing. So loads of air. Smallest amount of paint. You can see we're working from a distance as well, so helping keeping that cone nice and diffuse, but still easily controllable. That's the advantage of using the full pressure. It still softens it out at the edges by staying this far away, but it also gives you that really good sense of control. And be patient. Spent a lot of time so far now working on this base this evening. And I'm just going to come in from the side because now we've got a really white area here. Super bright white. Obviously we just want to knock that down, bring that into green. And that's just because we've got this little recess in the resin, this little gap. I'm just going to hit that with a hairdryer quickly, give it another pass on that so we can start blending this up in a very slow, gradual fashion. How far did you say your airbrushing from? About 3 inches for that, I think. It was about here, yeah, about 3 inches. And now we're getting that super, super vivid green. I mean, damn. But we're not even finished with the green, let alone going into yellow yet. So now we can just start keeping this a little bit tighter around the bubbles. And then we can start working in some yellow. Did you get clown out of that? I can see how you get clown out of that, yeah. Yeah, glow, well done. Cake Fisk, if you win this, man, this will be good, because I'm not going to lie to you, I haven't sent out your winnings from the Nurgle stream. So if you do win it, I can save on postage. Sorry, brother. I got almost everything dropped off at the post office. I've got three parcels, including yours, left to send off. So hopefully soon, man. The Dismayer says, is there a brand of glue you recommend for different size models or you use the same for all models? I use the same glue for all types of things I'm gluing together. So I use polystyrene cement or plastic glue for plastic. I use super glue for metal minis. And I generally use Gorilla Glue when it comes to that because I do not want these things falling apart. So there's definitely a type of glue for each material, but not necessarily for different sizes of mini. Right, again, keep this from a distance. A little bit closer this time, it's probably about 2 inches away. And then we'll just start spraying this mixture of green and yellow now down onto these bubbles. This is very thin. We're still glazing. Night Mace! What's up? How you doing, man? Smithy Dreams, exclamation point, go home, Jay, nights aren't competitive. Jay, hold my beer. Don't you drink my beer, you can hold it, you don't drink it. How you doing, Macy? Good to see you, champ. So how many people have you got muling the Indomitus box for you? GW announced now, 3 per customer, down from 6. Clearly into the, what do you call it, phase, like the quarantine rationing phase for Indomitus. Now, for those of you that are going to pick up the Indomitus box and you live in the UK, if you're not going to get it from your local independent friendly game store, exclamation point element in the chat, do me a favour. If you're going to order it from anywhere, online, order it from there. Use the code. You can all get double crystals and you can help support the stream at no additional cost to yourself and get the box at a discount. Because Element are awesome. Alright, so you can see this is really building up that super, super bright, vibrant green yellow. Although 3 over my name, 3 over my brothers, and 3 over my sisters. That'll do, man. That'll do. Type number 4 says, I need 1. Well, I need 3. I need 3. I need 1 to just break down and to use as minis for our giveaway here and there. So exclamation point mystery, again, it's going to be those kind of minis that you might be getting. I need 1 because if we zoom out a little bit, you see 2 other commands here, exclamation point duty and exclamation point score. On release weekend, we are painting the Judicia and the Scorpeth Lord, chosen by you guys from the community in a colour scheme that you guys also choose. If you want to choose what chapter or what dynasty those minis are from, use that command. Head over to the straw pot. We're currently, by 2 votes and 2 votes alone, the Ultramarine colour scheme is winning for that Judicia. If you want to see the Smurf, go vote for the Smurf. Keep it in that top spot. If you don't want to see the Smurf, and lots of people don't want to see the Smurf, if you don't want to see that Smurf, go and vote for the other factions. Dark Angel is coming in a close second. Black Templar, only 1 vote behind that, and my favourite, Sons of Medusa, is a little further down the list, but still. That Scorpeth Lord, both Frozza and Lozza are here. I expect them to have both voted for their own colour scheme. Gypsy Dangercrons, top of the list. Yes, this is exactly how I want to paint these Necron toys. If you haven't seen Pacific Rim, go and watch it. It's epic. But Gypsy Dangercrons, currently top of the list. The got fucked up at a 90s rave crons, which is what I have dubbed the Lozzacrons, is in second. And then that blue crons, that Frozzing crons, only 6 votes, I'm afraid, Chris. You desperately need to pump those numbers up, man. It's got to happen. But not only will you guys win either the Judicia or the Scorpeth Lord, but the winner of that faction's mini will receive the rest of that faction brand new on sprue. So you want to start a new Marine army or reinforce it with the new stuff, and the same goes for the Crons. You need to be here on release weekend, enter the raffle, get yourself involved. Maybe you could win. First place gets the choice, second place gets the other faction, and third place, I've got a prize for you as well. All is not lost for second runner-up. Second best. Second loser, maybe? Draco, if you want Dark Angels to win, you need to get in there and vote, dude. And you need to rally the cause. Alright, you guys need to be trying to, just, hey guys, why don't we make Jay paint it as a Sons of Medusa Marine, because he loves painting luminous green. As if you'd vote for yourself. Chris, you should definitely vote for yourself, man. You could have a Chronoff. How are you doing in your battles of the Chronoff as well? Has that gone any better for you? Because you're going to paint one versus Sam Lenz, right? And that's a tough challenge to beat, man. Sam the man. Occasionally, Sam Flex. He's a beast. Right, we're not done. We need brighter. Much brighter. So we're going to add in even more yellow. But with Salamanders, just going to need more green and flames. I like it. I like it. Fish says, there are way more Closet Ultramarine fans in here than I realised. Fish, are you a Closet Ultramarine fan? I mean, have you ever told anyone about your love for the Ultramarines? The great Bobby G? He's not in a closet. He came right out of there. 1,300 points of Ultramarines. Have you got both versions of Bobby G? Have you got the new version and the old version, the metal one where he sat on the throne? Have you got the 30k version of Bobby G? You'll get Sam when Indomitus comes out? Nice, dude. I look forward to seeing that. Two epic painters going head to head. It's a tough battle, that though, mate. So now we're getting more of that yellow going down. Remember, this is meant to look like Shadowmoon Valley from World of Warcraft. Back in those rose-tinted goggles days of being up all night raiding, hitting server firsts, thinking, yes, I am a beast. Look at the amount of EPing that I have right now. It wasn't worth it. It really wasn't. I did meet a couple of girlfriends through WoW. So that was kind of worth it, I guess. But and no, they weren't. You know, they weren't trolls that lived under a bridge or anything. Good times. Good times. Do I want to do it again? Fuck no. I'd rather sleep. I stay up all weekend painting minis now. Clearly, that's a much better thing to do, right? Just can't see the Ninja Turtle having a stogie. Absolutely, man. Right. So we've got one more coat to put on here. We're going to flush everything out of the airbrush apart from the tiniest dregs. Smithy! If you actually met girls through WoW, he's the chosen one. I did in fact meet many, well, I met many girls through WoW. I ended up dating 2 of them. Can't happen. Just off. Right, more yellow. More yellow. Now we shall hang the Battle Hymn of Macragge La la la, la la la. Sing a happy song. La la la, la la la. Smurf the whole day long. I think that's absolutely right. Right. Here we go, brightest yellow. And because we put down all that white earlier on, we've given ourselves a really, really strong base for this to be the brightest possible version that it can be. Oh, that's yellow. That's yellow. We need to make sure we just hit the bubbles. So let's come in real close now. So we're working about an inch away. And that's what we're working with, that bright. So we're absolutely full on the air. Keeping that cone super tight, just so we hit the very, very top of this bubble. Same for this one. Using that rocking of the trigger motion to just put a little bit of paint down. Instantly dry it with the air that follows afterwards. That's going to stop that spider webbing from happening. I mean, damn, they're bright. They are bright. So your best friends got married after meeting by a wife. Damn, man. Macy, thank you very much, dude. Want to see my epic mount? I mean, that is a bright yellow. Look at it. Look at it. You know what? Fuck it. Let's go one brighter. Let's just actually flush the brush out completely and just use yellow for that tiny top highlight. It's gone crazy. I mean, a little bit crazy. Zen! Dude! Thank you very much, brother. Much appreciated on them cheers, man. And again, as long as everything goes to plan, you will be rewarded for that later on. I hope I've managed to get this right. Because if not, I'll just reward you myself and just shout your name out a few times. But again, mate, thank you so much. Alright, tiny bit of flow improver. More yellow. Gonna go full yellow. You never go full yellow. Going full yellow is exactly what Captain Insano would do. Exactly what he'd do. So we're going to do it too. So mixing that with a cocktail stick rather than the dirty brush in the pot. Backflow going. Here we go. This is straight up flash gets yellow we're laying down now. Just gonna quickly clean the tip. Can't allow this bit to go wrong. So, coming in super close. To jam the trigger down. All the air possible. Tiniest amounts of paint being let through. Build it up nice and slow. Just want the very top part of this to be yellow. One down. Now we're not finished. We've still got airbrushing to do on these parts. There you go. Super, super toxic yellow achieved. You never go full yellow. Perturabo to Rogan Dawn right before the Siege of Terror. He went full yellow. Just like we just did. That is definitely a toxic pool. This is definitely very reminiscent, if we switch screen, of Shadowmoon Valley. We've still got one airbrush thing to do, one more basing thing to do, and then the tufts. And then we'll see if the glow-in-the-dark claim, and I'm sure these will be absolutely spot on, will work or not. Here we are. Quickly rinse all of this out of the airbrush. The next stage is to go all the way back to the start. So earlier on, where we mixed some of that warpstone glow and black, we're going to do exactly the same thing again. And we're just going to put in a little bit of a line, a little border around this. And the purpose of that is it's going to give us a sense of depth. So we're going to go just in front of that barrel. Show some of that going underwater. We're going to have it just around the lip of this crater that's full of this toxic sludge. Oh yeah. Now we're going to keep this unbelievably thin. 6 drops of flow improver. Zen just earned a new 1k bits badge. Dude! That's amazing! Mostly because I didn't know that was a thing. So... well done, dude! Let's get some hype in the stream for Zen. Cakefish says, I did full yellow today. I think I did a way too bright yellow. Almost no such thing, brother. Almost no such thing. So we are 3-to-1. Flow improver to paint. 1 drop of black. 1 drop of green. 6 drops of flow improver. We want this to be so thin because we cannot allow speckling at this point. If we get any of this speckle, it's all going to go horribly, horribly wrong. So you've got to take your time when it comes to this airbrush pass. To show you guys how thin we're going, let's grab... that would be a bad J. Shouldn't airbrush the giveaway prize. Let's grab this receipt from the post office. This side. Right, can't possibly dox myself. So just going to keep airbrushing until that stops being visible. We'll be here forever, almost. That's how long it takes to get full opacity with this paint thinness. This is all about control on the trigger. Cannot have any paint spatter. So like I said, first thing we're going to do, front of the barrel. What we're aiming for is to hit just around this line here. Remember earlier on where we were putting that soft body black just around the bottom here? Now do the same thing with the airbrush. That's the first thing we're going to do. Then we're going to come in and we're going to go all the way around the outside of this. We're going to try and avoid getting any of the airbrush spray onto these areas that have been highlighted by the green. We want it to be on the inside line of here. So where this then has then just had a little bit of that glow from the brightness, the vivid green that we've got here. Just going to paint in that line. So we've got a sense of depth. So, getting in on the barrel. And start around here. Full on the air. Tiny amount of paint. So obviously, got to focus. You start to see that dark shadow creeping in already. There you are, see? Once that dries down and stops being so gloss, that'll be a lot easier to see. Let's get that pass in there again. So that's what we're going to do now. All around the rim of this. Inks! How you doing? How's the mighty Mohawk? Is the mighty one mighty? The mighty one is the mightiest of all mighty things that could ever mightily be. Because today, we're giving away some Rival Craft stuff, including this base, to one lucky subscriber. So now we paint the ring all around the base. Remember earlier on when I said most of what I do is super easy? Some of it just takes some practice. This is still one of those things. It really is. Viking, double or quits, man. I told you. I'll ink the Mohawk bright yellow again if you personally donate 100 quid. You see that dark line now coming in. There's a tiniest amount of paint being let through the airbrush. It's just about patience. Don't rush it. As soon as you rush it, you're going to ruin it. But look at that angle there. You can see that dark line just coming in. Look at the sense of depth that we're getting here that we don't have on that side yet. And that's why this is so key. Something else to note as well when you're doing this. You know how we talk quite frequently about when you do a brush stroke, at the point you lift your brush off the mini, so that surface tension just holds an extra bit of paint there, and you get a darker amount of paint, or sorry, not necessarily darker, you could be painting a brighter colour. You get a thicker coat of paint at that point. Weirdly, the same thing happens with an airbrush. If you put down a tiny bit of paint coming through the airbrush and then stop, it's on the release of the trigger that the paint comes out. So we're holding down the trigger, we've got no paint really coming out. As soon as we release that, we get a little punk of paint. When you're doing something like this, there's no harm whatsoever. Instead of stopping the paint flow, which means that you then get that little spat of paint coming down, just moving the paint and the line of paint off the mini before you let go of the trigger. Because by doing that, you don't run the risk whatsoever of just flicking a little bit of paint. It could be speckly onto this area. If you move the paint that way off, you run the risk of putting it over one of these bubbles that we've painted. So don't do that, obviously. But do it to the outside, you'll be fine. Just reinforcing this a little bit. And we'll come right here. So again, we want to paint the inside line. Don't want to paint anything on here. That's going to help our little bit of, not quite OSL, just a little bit of ghetto glow effect. So super careful. Take your time, be patient. Painting this line. So this is just the same essentially. Oh shit, stuff and things. The Wes you know, thank you for that follow, man, and welcome to the stream. Much appreciated, dude. But I was about to say, your patience will very much be rewarded when you're doing this. Go too fast now, you've ruined a couple of hours worth of work. For what? Nothing, right? You've ruined a couple of hours to save yourself a couple of seconds. Seems like a false economy to me. Around this little patch of land. Around here. There you go, keeping that dark line going. Right, let's give that a quick blast with a hairdryer. Dry it right down. Dilbo's brush, slime! Loads of slime, man. Alternatively, we've discovered that it is a turtle smoking a stogie. But look at what that little line has done for our base. That extra little bit of definition we've got around the outside there helps bring everything to focus, helps establish that little glow effect, that little ghetto glow that we've got just along these ridged areas here. You see it hopefully quite clearly on this side as well. We've got the really nice spiky bits of the crater. Look at that. That is exactly why we spend that extra minute or two just doing that last step, because it's really worth it. You can't tell me that that's not worth it. Do love seeing the stuff you do come together. It looks epic. Cheers, man. Right, last step. We're going to just do a very quick dry brush on some of this base. So we don't do very often at all. Once that's done, we're going to matte varnish this to help protect the extremely thin paint that we've put on here. Now, we've painted metallics. Am I worried about the matte varnish ruining that metallic look? No, not in the slightest bit. The matte varnish we use, the Tester's Dull Coat, this absolutely phenomenal stuff right here. Whilst it will obviously take some of the shine off your metallics, it's not going to completely remove that. And really, most of this is now green. You know, you still see all of those bits of battle damage from the front. You see the little bits of rust, just barely as a little darker blemish to the barrel more than anything else. But it's looking spot on. So we have painted all of this outside with a mixture of grey and green, and that is exactly what we're going to use to dry brush this with now as well. So this is a very rare thing that we do here on the channel. I normally finish minis without a dry brush at all, and that includes the base and every other part of the mini done to 100% completion. So why am I dry brushing this? It's because I don't want to use weathering powders. That's basically it. As far as I'm concerned, when you paint a base, you have two options to finish something off. You can either use a weathering pigment, and we use them a lot. And I know not everybody wants to play around with pigments and deal with the sort of cleanup that you've got to do of them and everything else, because they are a bit of a mission to clean. And people don't necessarily want to like have bits of pigment just fall off in their mini case every now and again. Ichi, no worries, man. If you win, I will send you a whisper on Twitch. Just get back to me in sort of 48 hours or so. So just check back tomorrow, and we'll sort you out. Thank you for that sub tonight, man. Much appreciated. Hopefully we'll see you again. So yeah, a mix of green and grey. This is going to give us a really sort of muted, desaturated green. It won't end up so pastel because we're using grey. Take it easy, dude. I use one of our cheap, synthetic, shitty brushes. So I figured, because we're using a new product anyway, let's try and stick to something else that is as sort of traditional and beginner-friendly as possible. Hence why we're doing the dry brushing. Now, quick note on dry brushing. Before I start, actually, let's go through this. Most people dry brush wrong. And what I mean by that is they take their mini, let's say that my fingers are a detailed part of the mini, they're trying to dry brush and get some contrast on. And then they take their brush and they hit the brush against the mini, usually quite vigorously and quite hard. And they will put a downward stroke against the mini and then an upward stroke against the mini. And it's like fucking Paint the Fence from Karate Kid. This is not the way to dry brush. When you do this, you are applying a brighter color to both the top side, where light would hit the mini, and the bottom side, where light generally wouldn't. So if you're doing that to create a highlight, this part, the downstroke, is doing that for you. It's doing it in a way that is quick rather than good, because you're leaving a very chalky residue on this top side where the highlight is going to be. And very few materials actually have that kind of property when exposed to light. Obviously, chalk does, before anyone in the chat says that, looking at you. But most things don't, which is why I very, very rarely dry brush. But that stroke downwards applies your highlight. That stroke, when you go back up the other way, fucks your mini. Your paint job at that point isn't your paint job anymore. Your paint job's turned to shite. Because what you've done is you've got a highlight, and unless he stood on a fucking mirror or there's a light shining up his bum, there's no highlight there. The Great Wordling, thank you for that follow, dude, and welcome. So, when you dry brush, you go in one direction only. You remove the brush from the model, and you do it again, and you do it again. The second thing is, you do not hold your brush as if it's a fucking warhammer and do this! Urgh! You don't bang your brush on the mini. We have just made sure to keep a nice, smooth paint job on here. We're not going to beat the fuck out of it with a dirty brush. M and Lotus. Sure. There you go. Dry brushing lore and 40k lore. One of those two things was questionable. Glass Joe, thank you for that follow. So, take a small amount of paint on your brush. Take a paper towel. Carefully wipe off the vast majority of that paint. Also remove the cat hair. That's a tip that GW won't give you, removing cat hair. You should definitely remove the cat hair. And then, in one direction only, and very lightly, you start carefully dragging your brush down the mini. Now you can do this to a Space Wolf. You can do this to power armored dudes. I say Space Wolf because we do it on Ragnar, and obviously he's got a lot of fur, where drybrushing is a technique that actually works quite well as one of the steps in painting fur. Not the only step, one of the steps for painting fur. Obviously, bases it's relatively good for, because there's a fuckload of texture. But you can paint things like power armor and wraithbone from Eldar and stuff like that using a dry brush. Just be aware that you're going to get one effect from your paint, and that's kind of it. That's why we preach here all about using the airbrush, the most holy of all painting implements. But not just using the airbrush, finishing it off with the brush. Normal, everyday brushes. Because airbrushing will only give you one look to something. It's very difficult to get a crisp, clean edge highlight with an airbrush. Don't get me wrong, it's possible, we can do it, but it's much more trouble than it's worth. But notice how brush makes contact, moves down a minute, comes off. And you repeat that process again and again. Not back and forth. This is not paint the fence. If Mr. Miyagi was a painter, for dry brushing, it would be paint one way down. Paint one way down. That's it. You think my tinfoil hat needs more tinfoil? I don't think I need a tinfoil hat at all, mate. The voices don't talk to me anymore. Not since the fire. So all we've done with this is just get a small selection of highlights on some of that base. Not a lot at all. We've kept it quite dark. We've helped emphasize our shadows a little bit with that dry brush. Look at the little highlights it's given us along the top of here, for instance. Got those nice little shadows going in. We're all good. That's how you dry brush. If you need to dry brush, and you almost never need to dry brush, but if you need to, that's how you dry brush. Not this. Ever. Never that. Right, one last step before we get our tufts on is to apply a varnish. Because we're going to put an aerosol varnish over this. If we spray it over the tufts, just like dew hitting grass in the morning, it's going to collect on there. It's going to look a bit weird. And it also may, probably won't, but may ruin the UV effect. We've also got our base rim to do. Ringsting! How you doing, brother? Ringsting is the guy that I've been painting the Aeronautica stuff for. We started that on the Hellstrom stream last night with Hellstrom Dude, or Hellstrom Guy. We painted these super cool radar dish style, radar sweep, sorry, style bases. Really looking forward to getting these finished. These are going to look sick AF, mate. And soon by the time they go on those planes, they'll be banging. The Great Wordling cheered at 100. Thanks for the dry brushing tip. Dude, my pleasure. But don't dry brush so much, you know. Don't forget to do one last charge up. We've got the super powered UV station going on these for that charge up, but we will do a proper charge using the obligatory Rival Crafts Unique Gamer Scenics UV glowing tuft charging torch. Now, mine and Sarah's Instagram chats occasionally go a little bit weird. And so, when she told me that this was a thing that she was doing, we started coming up with dumb names for this. Topiary Torch, I think is a good one. I think that's a good one. I'm not going to go back through our chat. It's so far back. Topiary Torch is a good one. Bush burner. That's another good one. We need some awesome names for this torch. So chat, I am relying on you. Firstly, they must be obviously on point. It has to be related to grass tufts of some description. It also absolutely must have alliteration. Ring Sting username checks out is all I'm going to say to that one. That's grim. Also, this one's UV. This is just super bright light. It's not UV, it's just full on. It's very small aperture beam. I got too much of a fucking meathead for that to work, but there you go. There you go. So, topiary torch, bush burner. God, there was like 10 of them that I immediately started coming out with. It was fun. Lots of fun. Let's dry this down while you guys think of a few. My glowing dongle. We are talking about radioactive balls at the moment. So, you know. Do you recommend removing the runic bases on the feet for the Harlequins to free up space on the base? Up to you, dude, I think. That's more of a personal thing. Like, there's quite a lot of it to the base. You know, there's a lot going on with those guys. Base rim time. There's a bottle cap. We need a bottle cap for this. Because I always paint my base rims with a drop or two of thinner. And primer. Because people are hopefully going to pick things up using this. So, Techno Tuft Teaser. That's a good one, mate. That is a good one. And it's 3 words, not 2, so you get bonus points for that. I will just flick back through the chat. Try and remember, because I came up with one and I was like, this is the one. This has got to be what it is. There was a long line of them. Grass glower. Tuft torch. Leaf light. Hey, fish got leaf light as well. Glow generator. Oh, and this one. This one I think is one of my favourites. Bush booster. I can just see that in the Rival Crafts HQ. Here, pass me the bush booster. You copied Sarah. Ah, there we go. But yes, we have the absolute best Instagram chats. Alright, black base rim. Always, always, always black base rim. No excuses for any other colour. GW have started coming around to my way of thinking. It's like putting Eshin Grey on their bases. It's a work in progress, guys. We'll get them there eventually, don't you worry. Let's dry it down. Lady Garden Illuminator. That's not really alliteration. Bush Booster, Descent to the fucking 70s, brah. I mean, no. And if any one of us are in a position to know, Damien, it'll be you. Badass beefy bush burner. That's a good one. That is a good one. Pepperidge Farm remembers Goblin Green base rims. Pepperidge Farm can suck a fat one. Goblin Green base rims were a hobby atrocity. There were lots of things in that sort of era that were atrocities. Let's be honest. Shell suits. That's definitely one of them. Perms on dudes. That was one of them. Mr. Motivator. Definitely another one. But Goblin Green bases, a little bit of flock and a light yellow dry brush over the top, that's the worst. Scouse perms, yes. Scouse perms. We've all seen them. You're right, Gary. You're right. You're right. No, stay by the car, Gary. Destroying Scouse culture. This is not a bad thing. Anyone in the chat is Scouse. Just navigate away. You know, it's fine. Go and be in somebody else's. I'm only saying that because there's a Scouse person here. I know she's slightly grinding her teeth at that. Right, now it's time. Gonna get the bush out. So, in accordance with the instructions, here are our glass tufts and Donatello with his doobie. Here is our Rival Crafts bush booster, leaf light, tuft torch, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna double the power, baby. This actually looks quite pleasing, I don't know why. I'll print you one. That's just terrible. That's absolutely terrible. What's the point of this light show? Well, this is because these tufts glow in the dark. And supplied with the tufts came these torches. We got one to give away, one for me. For when I can't find them in the garage, normally I'd imagine. So, this is how you charge them up. Got these awesome torches. They're very bright. We're good to go. We'll take our tweezers. Thunder Fury. Blessed Blade of the Wind Reaper. Yeah, in flashbacks to the 90s. I'm surprised you can remember any of the 90s, mate. Okay, so got to be a little careful with these. In fact, that one I've actually managed to pull some of the green out when we lifted them off the backing paper, so we won't use that one. And just very carefully grab the next one. Don't be a dick. Grab our Kniffy. Use some UV hair gel that you've been jizzed on. Oh, wish I hadn't read that through to the end. Just carefully pushing that down onto the base. Let's get another one. Turns out knife is easier than tweezers, so this is good. And now pretty soon, the moment of truth. Now the studio, obviously not the best place to do this. We're going to turn out all the lights. We've even made sure there are no other lights on in the ground floor of the house. Just for this. I'm going to turn off the backing lights. I'm going to turn off both of these lights. Just to see the glow. I'm hoping the camera can pick it up. It gave it a decent go earlier on while it was still daylight outside. But even if it doesn't, even if this is as good as the base looks, this is absolutely baller. So somebody's going to win this very soon. Exclamation point glow. You're going to win this base. You're going to win this torch. And you're going to win this pack of sage green glow tufts. Sarah says, the torch needs to be used close up to the tuft to charge. Hold at it for 30 seconds-ish and then whack the lights off. We're ready. We've got the remote control to the lights. Let's just turn those off. Wow, camera now is having some problems. Here we go. 30 seconds. Let's count down. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. We just count silently now in my head because it's getting really weird. Look at the shiny face. Make it stop, mate. Why do you think there are lights on in the background? I look like Casper right now. I like Casper's paler cousin. There you go. Chat keeping me honest. Getting that countdown going. I can just picture Sarah's face right now. Like. She's a geek. He also glows in the dark. True. Okay. I think we're about ready. This is it. Moment of truth. I'm not turning that screen off. You'll have to just deal with that. Sarah says she's confident. Right. Let's do it. Does this glow in the dark? 3, 2. Where's the switch? 1. Holy shit! Amazeballs! Right, fuck it. I am actually going to turn off that screen. That is super, super cool. Super, 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 super cool. The camera, obviously, not built for nighttime. But they're providing enough glow to illuminate the green that we've got on that base. Can somebody please go and clip that? Let's pop that screen back on. Get some studio lights. It's a bloody switch. Sarah, that was fucking banging. There you go. That was epic. Absolutely epic. Please, somebody clip that. This is quality. This is quality. New challenge, paint in the dark. Need more glow in the dark tufts to be able to do that. But yes, could paint in the dark. I loved the fact that even when the lights were off, these sort of bubbles that we had in our radioactive swamp water still lit up. Fucking quality. Absolute awesome. If you want to get your hands on some of these exclamation point tufts in the chat, get a link to Rivalcraft's web store where you can find these on there right now. Then you can do it on iPad. Damn. Alright, we'll just go back and we'll just take a little snippet out of the stream for that one. Dude. There we go. Target number 4. Let's watch that clip back together, shall we? Oh, we got 2 clips. We'll go with the first one. Pause that a sec. I said pause, god damn you. Let's just knock the music off a sec. And here we go. We're about ready. This is it. Moment of truth. I'm not turning that screen off. You'll have to just deal with that. Sarah says she's confident. Right. Let's do it. Does this glow in the dark? 3, 2. Where's the switch? 1. Holy shit!
Awesome.
Amazeballs!
Awesome.
Right, fuck it. I am actually going to turn off that screen. That is super, super cool. We're about ready.
Very, very happy with these, Sarah. I am impressed. I am very, very impressed. One thing to note, to everyone that saw that, one thing to note. When you buy these, initially, just remember they'll have sat in the post office for a day or two or several. They will need a hell of a charge to get going. I've had these on under the UV lamp for quite a lot of today. We've also been playing around with the torches, which are amazing just by themselves. This is some good shit. So if you guys want to get your hands on Sarah's bush, it's a joke I can't stop making. Exclamation point tufts. If you want to win some right now, be a sub, exclamation point glow. We're going to head over to the work in progress gallery now. And then when we finish the whip, I'm going to draw the winner of that contest. So exclamation point Discord. Go post something in the work in progress. Let's see what we've got so far. So for the start of the stream, here's Hiko. He's been working on his Ultramarines super hard. This is that Gravis captain. Challenge for you, Hiko. Will you have painted these Marines from that starter set before the new Marines in the new starter set come out? Tough challenge. Not many left to do though, mate. They're looking good, dude. That airbrush work of yours is very subtle. I like it. Definitely needs that recessed shading done. We talked about last stream with Ragnar. But it's the whip. Everything super, super clean though. Oh wow, you've actually gone for a slightly different tack to the backpack as well. You've painted just the rim of those vents in silver rather than all of that piece. I like that. Not seen that done before. Love that blue though, mate. Love that blue. Shading on blue. Dark blue / black / purple. I like dark blue or purple almost every time. If you go black, it's a little bit too abrupt. But maybe you want to go with that kind of comic book cel-shaded anime style look to it. Nothing wrong with that. For the Ultramarines that I've done and the ones that you'll see in this little box, they're usually done with blue tone from the Army Painter as the wash. And again, that's just lined in there. Try purple tone up next time? Nice, dude. Good luck. Let me see it when you do it. Oh, and look at that with a cape. Very good, man. Very, very good. Also, I love how organised you are in the background there. Little frames from all. That's cool. That's real cool. No Goblin Green base. Quid! First of the 3 Legion of Damned War Suit conversions, still into the flames on the front. Okay, that's sweet. That's sweet. So, that's the Redemptor Dreadnought front bit. That's a skull face from the Imperial Knights kit, sat on top of what looks like the weapon mount from the Imperial Knights kit. On most of a warsuit body. That's cool, man. That's a lot of kits to get that, though. I like it. Needs more bones. Although the skull you sculpted is pretty awesome.
These bones, he's that rib cage going on. Very iconic. Danny / I'll print you one. Oh, this is cool. So this is the new Inquisitor lady with Mortec guard head and sword on top of Blue Tack and Sigmar lady. The only thing that I've got to say about this, a slightly negative, is they must have been grabbing that spear really, really tight for that hand to still be there. But obviously, a whip. You know, get some files out, get a sharp blade, just trim that down, build that texture of the wrapping around the spear blade, spear haft, rather. Looking solid, man. Blue Tack was placeholder. That explains all. I thought after I said Blue Tack, no, maybe that's Milliput. Maybe it's like a white Milliput stuff. You clean the handle, epic, dude. This is cool. This is cool. I genuinely like that that suit of armor. It works very well for the skeleton people. Solid work, dude. Solid work. First Legion of the Damned model painted. Okay, those flames are legit. They are some really, really good flames. I love the skulls you've got in place of the backpack vents. They're awesome. Good basing. Needs a bit of a cleaner rim job, but good basing. Nice tidy highlights. This is solid, dude. You could go with a bit more contrast on the brown leather that you've got there. So get in there, just either mix some of that with a darker brown or a even purple mixed in with that would work as well. And then just kind of feather it into some of the recesses, get a bit of a glaze into a shadow rather than up into a highlight you'd normally do. In that Vallejo putty stuff, could I use it as a glue and also slightly sculpt it? I bet just getting proper green stuff. I wouldn't get green stuff from Games Workshop. Green Stuff World or soon Element Games may do it as well. You can buy a yard of the stuff for about £6-7 quid. So that's what I'd do instead. You also may want to use, for something that large on the base, just Milliput, it's cheaper anyway. It says, yeah, I agree on the second that I've done more crunch on leather. Awesome, dude. Loving it. Demon Badger, still going on these Thousand Suns. They're looking sick, dude. Absolutely sick. Don't forget, guys, while we're doing this, we're still running that contest for the tufts. Let me bring up the current list in the giveaway. If I don't call out your name and you're a subscriber, !glow, getting hit. Darkside Hobbyist, !Discord instead. So currently in, we got Viking, Zen, Dez, Draco, Mr. Brutal, Big Brom, Voodoo Yaz, M. Peters, Chimo, The Johnsonator, Datson's Dog, Ventress, Smithy, Salvaris, Ichu, Lordy, Farsiars, Joder Din, Demon Badger, I'll print you one, OB Team, MCG, Jager, Airfort, Hiko, Dunachan, Crownblade, The Ways You Know, getting his subscription in. Dude, that nets you 3,000 meeps and the ability to enter this as well. So get that !glow in. Where do we get to? Hiko, Dunachan, Crownblade, Titan number 4, Hurtus, Bushlicker. Matt Muncher. No, wait, not that one either. Brushlicker. Wildside, Cakefist, Fish, DK, Omar, Acold, Ringsting, Macy, The Ways You Know as well. If I didn't call out your name, you're not in. Be a sub, !glow, get your name on that list. Sith, for instance, just did that. He's now in. But look at these. That is so clean. So clean. I'd maybe try and find a little extra spot to put a highlight or two on that disc because there's so much of that golden brass color. But it does look good, dude. Looks really good. Oh, here we go. Mostly finished the rubrics, so starting on some other stuff while going back to check my finer details on them. Very, very, very cool. I love the Thousand Suns models. I'd hate to paint an army of them because the trim. Brr. but they look awesome, done well. Nice work, man. Keep it up. Keep it up. Macy, getting his sand crons going on. Is that Wraith on the right size base? Are they on 40 mil? Demon Badger says, I'm starting to hate it and I've done like 1 unit in a Dreadnought. Yeah, it's rough, dude. It is rough. You haven't, if you started to trim on those Terminators, because goddamn, they've got so much trim. Wraiths are 40 mil. Cool. Cool. For some reason I thought they were on larger than that. I don't know why. Have you weighted the bases? Like glued some pennies or something up in there? Because they are top heavy as F. Nicer, dude. I see you're following that Midwinter Minis / Mikey Herbert from Hellstorm scheme. Keep it up, dude. I see a lot of grey plastic on that desk. Got to power through, man. Power through. This is, I've spent the last 3 streams painting the trim on Hounds of Abaddon. Yeah. Whoa. So, Smithy, here we go. Ah, Star Wars dudes. That's about as much as I know about this. So, these are some version of Stormtroopers. And I understand why you were talking about painting white the other day. I get it. So, start with grey, work up to almost pure white, and then take pure white, not the ink for that, just pure white, and then just paint the finer highlights. Clone Troopers. Look, I never watched Star Trek, alright? So, just... They did the thing with Luke Skywalker and Commander Riker, and... I don't know, some little green dude? Orville, I think. I've just triggered every single person in the chat there. Yes! Mission accomplished. Look, I like the films. I didn't like the... I liked episode 4, 5, 6, and I liked 8, and I think 9 was okay. I don't remember most of them, so... Try not to have a stroke. I'm 16, Jay, I don't need this. If you're 16, I don't want to know what kind of stroke you're having, Smithy. Not while I'm streaming. We've talked about this. That's not how you get them white. Let's see them when they're painted, though, dude. Good stuff. Right, Cake Fisk. This is always a risky click. Okay, cool. Next time, just post a photo for me, though, if you can, please, though, mate. Because, let's be honest. Could have been anything. Use the Force, Luke, said Gandalf. Yes. This is where I'm at. Use the Force, Harry! This is better. Oh, wrong one. Who else we got joining, though? Just Sith so far at the end of that. Selvarus, with welcome ideas for the base. Only the blue has tracks so far. Oh, even its texture. Right, I'm with you. Pigments. Definitely pigments, because they're going to look much, much better, and you can use them to weather parts of the wheels, parts of the front grills, and stuff like that. So definitely pigments. Smithy, trust me, mate. I got you. Don't you worry. Let's see. You've got blue and you've got red. And if you're going to do the entire army in different colours, it makes it very difficult to give you a definitive scheme for your basing. But you have used a load of tiny bits of slate on that. So you could go with greys. Dark grey to black, that sort of thing. Because it gives you that kind of feel of asphalt, tarmac as well. So you've got that road kind of effect for your Mad Max style Orc army you've got going on there. That could be a solid choice. Love them though, dude. Very cool. Side view. Nice, mate. But I'd definitely use pigments, and I'd definitely get a little bit of that weathering powder just on there as well. Fish. Absolutely. Absolutely. Or another 4-letter word beginning with W. Because it's hilarious and completely juvenile. Cakefisk, we've done our one risky click for the day, so we're not going on that one. Sith. Getting his blood angles on. That guy looks baller. That's the Space Marine Captain and a half. I like that. Very, very cool, dude. What are all the bits from? Some of these may have been printed, I assume, or possibly even all of it, knowing you. Deviant Draco gets it absolutely spot on. Why am I getting pop-ups of random girls streaming? Because Twitch? I guess. All 3D printed. I thought so, mate. Yeah. If that is Tor Garridan, I can't really support that if you're just sort of taking a version of him. But either way, you've come up with something that does look very cool, mate. Backshot. I think the wings could do a little bit of work. If you dry brush the wings. I think you could probably go back and just redo some shadows on there. Just to tidy those up a little bit. They're an absolute fucker to paint. Trust me, I've done a load of them. But it's one of those things that kind of rewards you for the extra effort. Also, get some glow effects going on that rocket pack of his, man. Right, Mr. D, 1969. Once again, putting us all to shame by showing us just how cleanly he can apply a decal. He's now sat there grinning, or has fallen asleep with his pipe and slippers on. One of those two things. One of those two things. Dude, this is fucking brilliant. As nice as your freehand is, because that's really sick, the white on this shoulder pad is fucking unbelievably good. It's very nice and very smooth. Love it, dude. Absolutely love it. Got some more pics of Tor Garridan. Yeah, nice conversion, mate. Alright, Mr. D again. Oh. So good! So good. Fish, why are you copying MCG Jaeger as well? I mean, this is getting weird now. Beautiful work on that skull, mate. Absolutely spot on. One day we'll get there. So Sith, this was the sci-fi fox lady that you were painting. I'm guessing still whip, because goggles not done. But very cool, man. And then Crown Blade Morgits, still going back work on the highlights. Nice, mate. So we looked at these last time, and that was the advice that was given. It's the purple, a little bit too dark. Just needs a little bit extra, obviously. Started working on that now. I'd push it all the way to the extreme though, mate. But that's me. I mean, we did a radioactive green base that glows in the fucking dark. Oh yes. That's what we did tonight. So, you know, all about those extremes. And Damien, fucking banging job, mate. That skull. You win the whip. We haven't even seen the rest of the whip, but you win the whip. Okay, I genuinely love the one on the right-hand side here with a little mushroom growing on his head. That's quality. That is absolute quality. And then that mad bastard jumping here with his tongue out. Looking good, dude. Looking good. Again, I just pumped those highlights right up, though. They're insane minis. They look a lot more detailed. The purple's got a lot more going on with it than the last time we saw them. But I'd still just go a bit further. The one munching the grot is awesome. Yeah. Right, A Cold. Here we go. Get his knights on and go. Let's get a good look at this one. Scorpius. That's nice, mate. That's nice. Let your world eat a free hand down there on his leg. Text is good as well, actually, dude. Can't argue with that text. That's alright. A little bit of OSL going on as well. We do a lot of blue OSL here. One thing you could do just to push that a little bit further. We've done this recently on the Necron streams. Just get some wash. Just work just into the recesses around there. Oh, it's... Oh, yeah. I should have known that. My housemate's playing his way through the CNC series at the moment. He's on Tiberium Sun, I think. But yeah, just get some dark blue wash either of your own creation or just, you know, buy one. And just hit some of the recesses around those bits of glow. It'll really stand out a little bit more. Just like we've done this evening. If we go back to our base here with that darker green line around the outside. So we put that in. That's helped emphasize the brightness of everything else. Do the same thing to your knight over there. Got to be careful with it though. It's definitely something you need to be paying attention for. But he's good, man. I like that. Got green glow on the Hellwinds. Exactly the same there. I love the bases you've done there. That's a really nice way of doing that kind of not quite lava cracked earth effect. That's cool. That's cool. If you want to see it in action, A-Cold, we did it on the Necrons for the OSL on one of the candy cane bits, like the main body with the gun attached to it for the Doomsday Arcs. I see Kane lives on a shield in the background there as well. These look like cork bases. Yeah, bits of cork snapped up, glued down, and then the base itself painted. And again, with the green that you've got here, you could just get a darker green and just go around the inside of that eye lens that you've got. Darkside Hobbyist, current chip... What the shit? Oh, I looked at that and like, you painted that? Motherfucker. But here's where we're at. Let's just get in a little closer on this one as well. So this is cool. This is cool. This is obviously a very early stage whip. Lots of bright colours there. The main difference between this guy and the Predator himself is the Predator's really dark in places. But I'm kind of jealous that I don't have this to paint. This is awesome. I just got given on Sunday the little chibi ultramarine dude. I am so going to paint him on stream. That's going to get potentially stripped if you can even. Going to get at least a damn good scrub. And we're going to paint him. And he's not for a giveaway. That's mine. That's definitely mine. This is awesome though, mate. Really, really like that. Is this something that's printed or is this something that you bought or what's the deal? Talk to me. I'm loving that collection of Pro Acryl paints you've got going on as well. Alright, Balefire. Hey, look. This night trim looks really familiar. Viking, definitely not yours. Definitely not yours. Smith, you got the Chibi Sister and Grey Knight. Nice, dude. Got it on eBay. Awesome, mate. Loving it, mate. Nice bit of green on the runes. Getting that OSL going on. Lots of green glowing tonight. This is really, really good. It's a Fel Reaver. Yes. Yes, it is. Nice. I really like what you've done with the base. You've incorporated a lot of the building sort of texture there as well. All those nice bits of steel. You've covered them over with stuff. They're not just stuck to the base. A lot of people forget that. Also, I can see in the background the Citadel Colour paint set box, which I had when I was about 12 or something. Nice. Darkside Hobbyist said it's a 4-inch chubby. Bit of an overshare. Oh, chibi. Awkward. Nice work, Chief. Right, Datcom. Death Guard Possessed, almost finished. Oh, yeah, dude. These are cool. I like that kind of bluey grey that you've got alongside the green. That's sweet. Fish, you know the man to speak to get that night kit. You're talking to him now. And they are very, very cool. Can attest to that. Like him, dude. Really, really like him. The Great Weirdling. What is this? I don't really know where to go from here. This is the Death Merchant from Mr. Lee. Oh, Mr. Lee's minis. Damn. Okay, don't know where to go. So, you really, really could get a lot of mileage out just darkening your shadows. Like, really could get a lot of mileage out of that. So, I wouldn't do an all-over wash, but I would just wash in all the recesses, so a pin wash. Everywhere you've got purple, use a really dark purple. Or a really dark blue. That would work as well. And then you're looking at sort of bringing up the highlights and so on with that. The flesh tones you've got are really, really nice. Overall, it's a little bit grey, and I don't know if that's because it's surrounded by silver, and then you've got the white for like the headscarf / veil thing that's going on with it. But maybe you could just go a little bit more vivid around some of the damage to the face that's going on there. You've got a little bit of pink and purple in there. Maybe just go a little bit heavier with it. Bring some more of that out. This looks like a really interesting mini to paint, though. I like it, man. Whatever you decide to do with it, please come back and show us again. Is that effectively the same picture? Is there any difference? No, the same thing. Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see your progress. It's your first bust. Nice, dude. It's different, isn't it? It's a different way of having to paint because the scale is so much larger. And the composition, obviously, is completely different to painting a full mini. Good stuff. Here we go. Oh, look at this. Playing with glow base toppers. That is cool. So not only can you just go and buy exclamation point tufts, some glow-in-the-dark grass tufts, which we'll show off again in a second once we finish the whip. Just before we do the draw, exclamation point glow if you're a subscriber and want to win some. But you've just better have a complete base kit already done for you. Happy days, man. I hate you, Sarah, and so does my wallet. Your wallet doesn't hate anything. Your wallet is dead now. It belongs to Sarah. So that is it for the whip. Let's have a quick look at that contest. Sith was the last person in. So, if you want to win, you've got to knock something over every stream, right? If you want to win this base that we painted this evening, this toxic green sludge, very reminiscent of Shadowmoon Valley from World of Warcraft. If you want to win this, and a Rival Crafts, Leaf Light, Tough Torch, Grass Glower, I think I came up with something Charger as well, but I can't remember. This is part of the prize. And also, this entire pack of sage green tufts. All you've got to do is be a subscriber and type in ! glow within the next 30 seconds or so. I'm going to show you what this thing looks like under the lights. We won't charge it again. We'll assume it's had still plenty of charge. Let's knock out the backlights. Randalo7597, thank you for that follow and welcome. Let's turn off these lights. And then... Bah! That is so good. So good. And the fact that just a little bit of luminescence from those 3 tufts is enough to light up the greens that we've laid down on that base. I like that a lot. We're sold. We are totally sold on these. This is definitely a thing. Put it on your side. There we go. So, we're going to do the giveaway. I think everyone's had enough time to enter. Sith was the last one. Pan over to the screen. So the giveaway is closed. That's it! No mas! And the winner of this base, that torch, those tufts is Omar7666. Congratulations, dude. I'm hoping you're there. If not, we'll hit you up at some point over the next couple of days. Or rather, I'll hit you up after the stream and hopefully you'll hit me up back. Because, you know, gonna need that. Is he there? Omar. Calling Omar. Going to be one of the last people that entered. So, hopefully he's here. Perhaps not, though. Okie doke. So, thank you to everyone that joined in tonight. For those of you that are here right at the very start of the show, you'd have got to see this. We've done a lot of improvements on the stream, and I'm really hoping that this next one actually works. We're going to go and find somebody to stream and pass all of you guys on to as a raid. Thank you to everyone that joined in tonight. This is going to thank you as well, I hope. Peace out, guys. We'll see you in the raid. No, it's not going to thank you at all. It's meant to be the fucking end credits, but never mind. Never mind. Need to work on that one. Let's find a raid. I knew something was going to go wrong. That was the one. That was the one. So let's see. Macy wanted to guide the raid to tank. Could do. What's tank painting, though, is the question. Sarah, honestly, this has been my pleasure. This has been a cool thing to paint anyway. It's all good. Oh, wait, we've got other Redeem the Raid. We've got Ryboog. Not sure who that is. And Malev. I love Malev. That guy's an absolute boss. Who is Ryboog? This is someone I've not heard of before. See what the deal is with that. Are they painting some Marines? Okay. Could go there. tell you what, we've never ever raided him at all. We've got one shout in for live action Pixel. I'll tell you what, on Draco's recommendation and the fact that it's a new person to us, we're going to go and raid them. So when we get in there, there's currently 13 people. We're going to increase that by a significant number. Quite a significant number. So I want you to smash emotes in. I want hype going in the stream. And all of the cool shit happening. Thank you to everyone that tuned in tonight. We'll see you on Thursday night where we carry on with Ragnar Blackmane. Peace out, everyone.
Mohawk Minis, thank you for the raid party of 60. Welcome, everyone. Hello. Wow, welcome. How's everyone doing? Hey, Draco, how's it going? Welcome, welcome, everyone. Thank you, Ronaldo, for the follow. Much appreciated. Hey, hey, hey. How is everyone doing? Oh. Thank you, Mohawk Minis, for the follow as well. Hello. Another raid. Hi guys, how's it going? Hey, thanks Mohawk. Thank you. I can't actually... Oh. My camera clearly can't keep up with it. You've broke my camera, guys. How's it going? How is it turned off? Has it went to sleep? Hang on. Turn on. There we go. You actually put my fucking camera to sleep. Hello everyone. Okay, I need to catch up with these notifications. Right, hang on. I was going to say, it's definitely not ran out of battery because I have a dummy battery in the camera, so... Right.